The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Gosh, the Catawba Indians are always a great adversary for us at Carson-Newman. They're both programs that have been held to high levels. They're both are programs that expect great things to come out of them. It's been a great rivalry with Catawba through the years. Been some ups, been some downs in it. So we look forward to a great contest on Saturday.
Where's the team's mindset at after a frustrating one Saturday against Newberry?
Well, we've got to go on. We spent yesterday, and you're frustrated. Coaches are frustrated. Kids are frustrated, and it's very, very simple. You just got to play. All right, you just got to play and go play wide open all the time. There shouldn't be a time that you ever wonder about yourself. Am I going to turn loose every snap? Am I going to play hard every snap? We talked to them about you can't let conditions set how you play. Those things are variables that have come through life. If you want to be a great football team, you're going to have to play in the heat, and then hopefully you're playing in late November and early December. You're playing when it's freezing cold. You're going to get both extremes out of that. And you cherish those opportunities to be in those extremes. There are parts of it that you got to fight through. There's things you got to overcome, injuries, little nicks and bruises and those kind of things. So Saturday, we didn't overcome them. We read them a great verse yesterday, and I'm not sure exactly where it come from, but if you're a child of God, that doesn't prevent you facing adversity, but it does enable you to overcome it. And I hope we've got kids in their heart and in their brain that they're overcomers. They're going to overcome a performance that was not typical of what they're about.
You've had your back against the wall before, played much of last season. Same deal, you're 2-2 after week 4 last year. How much do you use lessons learned from a year ago, and what do you apply to this year?
Well, kids are kids, all right? They can, some of them can't remember last week, much less remember last year. So you've got to say, hey, this is 2018, this is where we are. We had our chance to be in charge of our destiny, and we still are. We've got to be a little bit more urgent about taking care of our business. They've watched the video before I talked with them yesterday. They know exactly how that performance was. We were certainly capable of winning that football game. Our defense played hard, continues to play hard. What points they gave up, you should win every football game. They held a football team to less than 21. The interception made it 23, so they held them to 16 points, and that's good enough to win a football game. And on offense, we've got to produce more. We've got to make drives stay alive, make first downs when we need to, and put points on the board. That's our responsibility. Our kicking game, we had the one error there on the field goal, the snap, and didn't hold it. Got to get it held like we wanted to. But I am enthused by the improvement that our special teams continue to make, and we're in a situation right now. Hey, there you are. You put yourself in this situation. Now you got to overcome it.
Ray Arterbridge, returning kicks for you, has snapped off several 30-yard returns now. What about the job that he's done being inserted into that role?
Ray is a great competitor. Has grown up tremendously in a year. Very proud of his effort, and he keeps continuing to grow as a man, as a football player. The only problem with those 25 and 30-yard runs, they should have been 95 and 100-yard runs. When you look at the video and you see this guy not quite getting there to square the guy up where he can make one more cut. So, the main goal on special teams is to score and to set up scores, okay? They're supposed to flip the field position, put you in a position to score or score themselves. So we're looking for the first score coming out of them, punt return, a kickoff return, and keep flipping the field. Saturday, we didn't do a good job of flipping the field. We started too many times at the 15 or inside the 15, and it's hard to be very productive out of that level.
Catawba, for the last few years, has been one of the premier defenses in the South Atlantic Conference, but the guy that led them, Kyle Kitchens, has at long last graduated. Feels like they've got somebody to replace him, though, in L.J. Melvin, their leading tackler. What do you see out of Curtis Walker coached group that, again, normally sounds solid?
Well, there's one thing that's always going to be solid about Catawba, and that's going to be their defense because of Curtis. He's going to coach that bunch, and he's going to get them ready and have them prepared. He always does, year in and year out. They've switched a little bit right now and gone back to a 40 front, which is what Curtis was originally when he played there at Catawba and when he coached at Coastal. So they're flying around right now and getting after it. When you watch them on video against a couple of opponents right there, they are and they're young guys right now. They've got like 4 starters and 4 backups, I think, something in that neighborhood. So they're still a little bit young on that side, so they're going to get better every week.
Last couple of years, by this point in the year, you had a receiver that had kind of stepped up above the rest of the crop. This year, it seems like it's very much by committee. Do you feel like somebody needs to step up here against Catawba and kind of assert themselves as that number 1 option?
Well, Michael, there's no doubt about that, brother. This is the 5th game of the year, and we've got people at different positions that do need to step up and make a run at it. We got guys, we had talked about earlier, they were new and all this. We're working them into this, and we just talked in an offensive staff meeting there a while ago that it's time to step up, to come be accountable, and take charge. For goodness sakes, take charge. Somebody take charge of the position and say, I'm the man, and I'm going to get it done. You can count on me. That's what we're looking for. Absolutely. And we do feel like we've got some talented people there to do that if they can just take over and handle it.
From a running back standpoint, you get Dimitri Salisbury back last week. You're able to work him into the mix. Seems again like there's a lot of guys there. Granted, Stu Johnson and Tony Winbush have really stepped up in those roles, but how are you trying to use that running back by committee group throughout the game? Well,
it's what you'd like to have, Michael, is 6 of them that are the same, brother. All right, that's what you'd like to have, because in this kind of offense, you need fresh legs at every point. You had the relay with the Pony Express, all right, and you'd like to get so many snaps, get 2 more in there. Get so many snaps, get 2 more in there, so that you got people continuously feel liking they're stretched out pretty good, that they're ready to go. We're getting the snaps a lot better. At the first couple games, we had way too many snaps with Antonio Winbush. All right, and he's always going to be quality. There's nothing wrong with that at all. He's always going to be quality. We just need to get those others in there so we can keep him fresher.
In your 2 wins, the second half, you've kind of dominated. You've done a lot of really good things. In your 2 losses, on the other hand, the adjustments haven't quite been there. What have you learned as a coach over the first 4 weeks and trying to level that out in the second half?
Well, I've learned that I've got to keep my calm, and I've got to know that that you trust those kids to go out and execute and get it done the right way. I don't think there's been any big changes at halftime in any one of those games. All right, whether they were the 2 wins or whether they were the 2 losses, they weren't any big changes. There was more of a reaffirming. You got me? A reaffirming, and let's keep doing this, but for goodness sakes, let's do it better. All right, and there's not been any big adjustments against us, okay, in the 2 losses or the 2 wins. You know what I mean? So people sometimes they give too much credit to there's big changes been made. That's not necessarily so. And we're trying to figure out how we can maybe get them a little bit more warm-up time out there or something, you know what I mean, and see if that helps or changes up a little bit. But how you start, and it's like the first half. You want to draw first blood. Obviously, I think that's an advantage to any offense. And for goodness sakes, in the second half, you sure want to be in that position. And I think something that happened to us Saturday, it was the field position. Okay, we were at a ball game that was a 7-point game. Okay, and we didn't want to do anything that would maybe put our defense in jeopardy. Our defense had come out and established the first 2 times, great authority, 3s and outs, and we just need to get a little bit better field position.
There are a lot of guys on defense that get a lot of publicity. Antonio Henderson on the other side isn't really one of those guys. You don't really talk about him a whole lot, but he seems to produce week in, week out. What have you seen from him?
Gosh, he's part of the glue. Okay, Antonio Henderson is probably one of the better players we have on defense. Okay, and you're right. His name doesn't come up all the time with all the stats, but his name comes up all the time in that room up there about people producing and keeping it together, making plays to turn things back inside to other people, that type of deal. He's a very valuable part of our defense, a very, very valuable part of our football team.
Not too often you look at an opposing offense and see the leading receiver in terms of volume of catches as the tight end, but Jordan Osinski is that for Catawba. What do they do to get their big 6'2", 230-pound tight end in the mix so frequently?
Well, they do formations and counter-type actions to get him the ball, motion and sets. They do a lot of things with different sets and formations. He's proven, Catawba's when Catawba's been very good, they've always had a good tight end, sometimes 2 of them. In today's world, in this spread deal or this West Coast type deal, a tight end is one of the more featured players in the offense. So he's a threat, no question.
Reed Carlton's done a good job managing their offense too. What do you see out of him as a quarterback?
Well, he's a guy that's been there. Last year when they had the transfer, he wasn't the featured guy, but he's a steady performer. Has always got him and made plays for him. And I think they were pleased that they were able to have him back again.
How fun is a matchup like this where you've got 2 SAC Hall of Fame linebackers on either sideline, Curtis Walker on one side for Catawba, Mike Clowney on the other side for you?
Well, it just we need to get some of those offensive guys in that Hall of Fame so we can score some more points right there. But no, gosh, those are both great players. Coach when Mike was here, coach when Curtis was playing for David Bennett over there, and watched both of them as players and as coaches. And it is great to see that this conference is special. You know what I mean? It has a family type thing to it. You see guys that played in it, have come back after a year or 2 and been coaching in it. So it's a little bit different kind of football conference.